Hello, boys. How are we? We're here for episode 5 of What's on the Cards today. I'm Youngie.
I'm Ellis.
And I'm Derek.
This is Derek, Mr. DLBootRoom. A very interesting character we're looking to dive deep into today. Right, so basically, I want to say thank you for the support on last week's episode with Jamie from Scotland Cards. Great episode. Yeah, great episode.
Episode 5 already as well. Like, we've filmed one of our own 4 guests on this, So, not doing bad. And it's only not even 2 months old. So, we're doing good. But we've gone a bit premium today. Is it? I think when I checked, 86,000 followers on Instagram. So all budget that we've got for the rest of the year, we've had to pay Derek to come on today. No, joking. We don't pay anyone with fucking skin. Right.
We can't even get the StreamYard logo out the top corner.
Yeah. But, maybe in future months.
Yeah. But yeah, we're here with Derek today. Derek, tell us a bit about yourself.
Right, so I've been collecting cards for about 15, 16 months now. But before that, I built my social media platform being a football book collector and reviewer and stuff like that. I'd been doing that for about 10 years. I've been a collector of football memorabilia, though, since the mid-90s and stuff like that, from Corinthian football figures, which I still got a huge stack of at home. You know, at the time, they were just plastered around the bedroom and stuff like that, and now they're tucked away. So yeah, just been collecting football memorabilia for a long, long time, and then social media gave me a platform to start showing it off, and obviously met quite a few interesting people along that sort of path as well. So thanks for having me on here. It'll be good to have a chat about it.
Well, yeah. I'm excited for this one as well. I've been buzzing for it all weekend. I was looking through Instagram at some folk that you've met and you boots, and it's like you own them. I'd love to just sounds weird. Do you ever just get your boot and just
smell it?
Just smell it. Never done a smell test. You know, like
I'll when you
honest, get match worn.
I had a few match worn boots and stuff like that. There's only one pair I ever tried on, and that was a pair of Beckham's. Because he's actually a very similar size to me in shoes. So the first pair of Beckham's that I ever got, it was the only pair I actually tried on. It was a pair of Power Swerves, blue and gold, from when he moved to Galaxy. And we were roughly the same size. So I slipped them on, and you get that stupid schoolboy grin on your face, you know, and it's this is incredible. But yeah, that's the only pair I ever actually tried on and stuff like that. It's the rest of them were.
You know, it's good when we're 3 minutes in, he's already flexing that he's wore a pair of David Beckham's boots. Did you stand out in garden practicing? See if it were the boots and not him. Like,
you know the really sad thing. The truth is, I used to have a little bit of AstroTurf in my boot room, and I put the boots on, stood on the AstroTurf for about 5-6. Like, that's it. Back off, straight back in the cabinet again. They're not getting any dirtier or anything. Fortunately, when they're match worn, you can't really tell if someone else wears them at some points and stuff like that, you know. So but didn't scuff them or anything. But yeah, it was literally 10 seconds on the feet and then straight back in the cabinets.
Just to say your feet have been blessed by the same boot as David Beckham.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't footballers have smaller feet? Like, what size are you? I'm
a UK 9. Beckham's roughly about a UK 9. But without sounding too nerdy and geeky about the whole thing, all football companies' boots are different size. I'm sure you know when you buy different trainers, different companies, all different sizes. I mean, I had a pair of Ronaldo match worn boots, and they were about a size 7.5 to 8 UK.
You just do, don't you?
But yeah. But they were 7.5 or an 8 UK, but he's actually a size 9. But when he was at United, it was from the 08-09 season, he crammed his toes into the front of the boots because he liked that really, really tight fitting boot on his foot. So, you know, that they were if he had a size 9, I would have been able to try them on. But, you know, they had 7.5, so I was not going to get anywhere near. But they're also custom made for them, like toe box was higher on it and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's when you get into all that, it's very specialist and stuff like that, the way the boots are made for these guys.
Yeah, right. Let's quickly introduce the shirts we're wearing. I'll go first because mine's the best. I've gone for a Di Canio number today. Little 1990-2000 shirt, little retro one. Because I know we're going to talk about a lot of retro football today, and who's better to talk about than Di Canio?
Right, so I've gone for a relegation special. Our third kit from last year. Got a nice little, and it's all peeling already because quality on shirts these days is shit.
Look at that! Look, this is nearly 20 years old.
Nothing wrong with it. I know I've got Leeds shirts, mate, that are like older than me. Nothing wrong with them. These new ones, I don't know what they do to them.
Yeah,
No.
Stick it on with Pritt Stick, all sponsors and that. And then, unfortunately, we've got to go to Derek's shirt.
Yeah, I've gone for this classic 06-07 Man United shirt.
That's a legendary shirt.
You know, for me, it's the first year Ronaldo really came into his own in a United shirt and stuff like that after the World Cup and stuff like that, the famous winking incident and stuff like that. So yeah, for me, this was my favorite Nike shirt when obviously Nike were reunited for quite a few years there. And for me, this was the best one they did. And it's the long sleeve. I love a long sleeve shirt more than the short sleeve. So it's
you're not hot in Qatar wearing a long sleeve.
AC everywhere, mate. Got AC. It's we don't have to worry about that.
6 minutes. He's flexing AC, Ronaldo boots,
Beckham boots.
Oh dear.
I'm sat in a 2-bed terrace in Donny, mate.
Wow.
But yeah, there we go. Long sleeve shirts as well is something that I don't know, like Youngie, I don't know if you're the same, like, right? As a chunky monkey, you can't wear long sleeve shirts. It just don't. Long sleeve football shirts, they just make you look like a big fatty, basically. Like, you just can't wear them.
I don't like them.
They just look better. I don't know what it is. I just always. I had loads of United shirts, just normal shirts, and I did a bundle sale to sell them all. That's about 2 years ago. But I kept every long sleeve shirt that I've got because I just like wearing long sleeve shirts wherever I go and stuff like that. It's when we go to bars here, watch football matches and stuff, I just prefer having a long sleeve onto the shorter sleeves. And there's no reason. It's obviously just personal taste, isn't it? It's like.
The thing is, though, I think unless like long sleeve shirts as well, like you can't get away with them as casually. Do you know, like say you can't wear like a long sleeve shirt. Like I don't know, like short sleeve shirts just go with everything. I just don't feel like long ones do.
See, over here, it's funny. Long sleeve shirts with shorts. That's probably one of those common things you see over here with football shirts.
Don't get many long sleeve kits now, though, do you? Really?
You can get them. You can buy them.
Big clubs,
Big clubs. Yeah. The little puny Leeds United in the Championship.
No, only long sleeve shirts we do is the training kits with, you know, the cleaning brand. You find in D&M, Astonish across the front.
Brilliant.
Right. Anyway, so that's the shirts we're in today. This is Ellis's section that he's been gagging for. So your favourite player of all time and how your generation of football compares to now.
Oh, my favourite player of all time. I mean, United player, it's easy for me, is Ronaldo. And that's not even going old school. That's just, for me, he's the best player I've ever seen in a United shirt. No doubt about it.
Pick another.
No, I mean, before, my football heroes growing up, Brian Robson was one. You know, Cantona, every United fan loved Cantona.
I love Cantona.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Played for Leeds.
Beckham. But there's other... Like, for me, I remember the 1980s. I'm 45, so I remember the 1986 World Cup quite vividly. My first World Cup I remember was 1990, and for me, Lothar Matthäus was just an absolute legend of a player. I absolutely love Lothar Matthäus. I was fortunate enough to meet him as well. But then after him, the other player that for me was huge, and he was shit at Man United, absolutely awful, was Juan Sebastian Veron. I loved Italian football. Absolutely loved Italian football. And when he was at Parma and Lazio, and then when United signed him in 2001, I think it was, I was absolutely buzzing to sign Veron. To me, it was like, this is just the most exciting signing I've ever had. And then he was crap for the 3 years he was in England. Then he went back to Italy and he was phenomenal again. You know, some players obviously just don't suit the league and stuff. So yeah, Veron would be one of my all-time favourite football players as well, without a doubt. But yeah, old school, I'd be looking at Matthäus, Cantona. Beckham was every United fan's.
He's one of like just English football fan. Like even abroad, like people love him. all
Yeah.
over the world. He's just he's just a glorified player, and he always will be.
I mean, there's other players I've always admired, like Xavi and Iniesta. I like everyone does.
You've met Xavi as well.
Yeah. I've got a story about him.
Let's start.
Yeah, Xavi and Iniesta, players like that. I mean, I'm not a Messi fan. I appreciate everything Messi does. Obviously, like you can't go past the guy. I mean, I was at the World Cup final here, and what a game! You know, Messi and Mbappe in that game were just different levels altogether. But I'm not a fan of his. I think it's the classic Ronaldo Messi. You choose one and go with that one. And I think every United and Real Madrid fan will always go with Ronaldo, and everyone else in the world will go with Messi, which is fair enough. You know, it's literally not a problem. But I mean, it's got to go back. There was players. There was Davor Suker. I remember when he was with Croatia and stuff. You know, just so many. I feel like the 90s just had so many outstanding players that. It's so hard to go for one favorite. I remember when Italian football came on Channel 4, they had when Italian football came on Channel 4, AC Milan were in the middle of an unbeaten run of like 50 odd games, and it was Van Basten, Hullet, and Rijkaard were the trio they had at the time, and everyone loved the Dutch connection with AC Milan at the time because it was just we'd never seen football like that before. AC Milan were in their prime, you know. So yeah, it's a tough one, but yeah, I'd go with those players. I'd say favorite non-United player would probably be Lothar Matthäus, but there's quite a few players I never mentioned.
Yeah, and obviously some unreal players named there. Let's be real. I was literally either not born or a baby when they was about. Anyway, when you said Veron came in 2001, I was just born.
It's like talking with your dad, isn't it? It's like having to sit down with your dad. I'm 24.
Ronaldo got told it wasn't old enough. Bloody hell, would you want?
Yeah, no, I was born in 99. I'm pretty sure young is 2001.
Yeah, I was 78, so yeah, a bit older.
But so like, obviously the football compared to now, it's like even I know, like even when I watched football when I was younger, and even when I watch it back now, it's like what's that geezer's name? You got to die to get 3 points. So you got to die to get 3
Neil
points.
Warnock.
Neil Warnock, that's it. And it's like that is how football used to be. Like it used to just be legs flying, ankles getting kicked, and that's how I play football because I grew up watching football played like that. But now it is just pony. Like it's like everything's VAR. As soon as they get like a hair touch, they're crying on the floor.
I mean, I watch a lot of the Women's World Cup this summer and stuff like that. And one thing I admire about them is when they get a tackle, they tend to just stand up after it and just get on with it. You know, some of them are crunching tackles and stuff like that, but they don't lie on the floor and wait for the physio. If one of them stays down, you think that they're injured, they're actually hurt. You know, and you got to admire that about the women's game sometimes, that they don't mess around.
I think it's because they know that they've got to prove something. They've got like a way to come to get.
Yeah, I get that,
league, isn't it? You play in the league. You don't lie on the floor pretending you're injured when you get touched by someone because your mates are laughing at you. Never mind anything.
You probably still half cut. Probably still half cut when you're playing, but yeah. It's like, and also
the 90s were great time for obviously the Premier League came around and stuff like that. But if I go back and you watch the treble from '99, the pitches back then, even in '99, the pitches were terrible come December, January, February sort of time. You look at it now, all season long, the pitches are absolutely
they're relayed,
artificial.
None
of it's all fake. That's why back in the day you saw not no injuries, obviously, but you saw a lot less injuries because the pitches take the impact of the legs. So like your leg would go in, it'd sink into the mud. Because I done an injury on 4G the other day because when your leg hits the floor, there's nothing for it to go into. So it just hits like the ground and it doesn't sink. It just stays still and then your bone just can't take the pressure. Yeah. That's why now like every pitch is artificial now. Except from like obviously when you go down to like your League Ones and stuff.
But again, without sounding geeky about football boots, a lot of people wear the wrong boots on 4G and stuff like that. They wear firm ground boots on it, which have got the little blades on the bottom instead of the all ground, the AG boots, which have got the conical studs on it and stuff like that. People don't look for that, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help for injuries and stuff like that. You know, it's just doesn't help.
Yeah, well, I'll wear. I call them molds. That's what
little round studs, yeah.
No. They're like little straight.
Boys,
blades, yeah.
boys,
Yeah.
we're talking about the shape of studs. Come on,
Hey,
I love
injuries. It's
boots,
injuries.
man.
Told you, I
I
get
love
nervy
it,
when it comes
man.
to football boots
Young
still.
favorite player of all time.
My
and
favourite player
how
of all
it's,
time.
now it's different to now because
You go first. I need
well,
to think.
right. It's hard because there's players that I admired growing up that weren't playing when I was watching, but Tony Yeboah,
Oh,
just
what a player.
2 class goals, mate. Liverpool and Wimbledon. Growing up, all kids just look at me like I was weird in playground because they'd be going, Yeboah, and it's just like, what a dick he is. Like, who's that? Some Ghanaian that nobody's heard of. And it's but I think first football match I remember watching like properly with my dad was Milan and Liverpool. So yeah, I was like Xavi Alonso and Gerrard, things like that. And every kid loved Gerrard, didn't he? Like, that's just no. What, you didn't?
I wasn't a kid, to be fair, then, so I'll give you that one. I wasn't a kid when Gerrard was playing. So
No,
yeah.
but you just do, don't you? Gerrard, Rooney, Lampard, that was it.
Yeah,
It's
when
like
you
you
love
love
that
them,
was
but
it. Yeah.
Mark Viduka,
Harry Kewell?
no, not behave. Like
Quality at Leeds.
what?
He was quality when he was with Leeds.
Yeah, and then Galatasaray, their fans stabbed 2 of our fans, and then he went there. So that's the end
I
of that
didn't know he
one.
went to Galatasaray. Actually, I didn't know after
Yeah,
that.
that's why everyone hates him, mate. That's
Right,
like
okay.
in the hobby. That's why his cards don't shift when he's in the
Ah,
Leeds
right,
kits because 2 Galatasaray fans killed.
Yeah, I remember that happening.
Yeah, and then he went and played for him, and it was just a bit like a kicking swingers. So yeah, nobody likes him. Trying to think now, favourite player now is difficult because you're just gonna laugh at me. But what?
Bamford.
No, don't be silly. Ethan Ampadu. What he is good. Ethan Ampadu. He were at Chelsea. Welshman. Great little player. I'll shut up about Championship because nobody gives a fuck. Obviously, nobody cares.
No,
I was actually chatting to. I've got a few mates over here that are Leeds fans, and they were actually chatting to me the other day saying that they're actually enjoying this season more than the previous 2 because they actually feel like they're going to games. It's nice knowing that
you might win.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you're in the Premier League or the Championship. When you watch your team play, you just want to see them winning games and stuff like that. And he says it's actually this year a lot more enjoyable.
It is. I go to every home game, so we're chasing something. Like you're chasing promotion. Like when you. This is why I don't get like fans of places like Palace and things like that. West Ham, for example. What are you chasing? You're not going to win league, are you? Well, to be fair, you've done better in recent years, West Ham.
Yeah.
But you get up there. You're not going anywhere. You just either come straight back down like we did.
Yeah.
You don't get. There's no. It's like I went to City, at home last year, just to watch Haaland. Because I knew we were gonna tear as a new one, but just watching him play it, we're just watching them play it. I spent more time watching them than I did us that game. But
yeah, same with me. I went to West Ham City first game of the season. We got ripped in the arsehole by Haaland in his first game, but he's a ghost now at the minute, so fuck him. But my favourite player of all time is it's a tear up because it's either like Thierry Henry. For me, that was like my childhood.
Yeah.
So like my childhood was like I'd watch West Ham, but then I'd also want to watch Arsenal just to watch Thierry Henry rip it up from like
plastic.
whatever. No, I just love Thierry Henry. I just thought he was brilliant. But obviously, he's probably just one of the best footballers to play the game. But
I think Sorry to interrupt. I think you appreciate him a lot more now because the commentating, and it's like,
great.
Brilliant. It's
like every time they're like, they like guess the player. It's like they've won this, they've won that, they scored this, they scored that, and he's like, it's me. But other than that, Mark Noble. he stayed at the club 18 years. He went on loan to Hull once at the beginning of his career because he didn't.
Did he stay because he wanted to, or just because nobody else
He
wanted him?
There's been many of things. He's been on many a podcast. He had a deal come in from Liverpool, I think.
Behave.
He did. He go search up, and he turned it down because he wanted to stay. He wanted to stay at West Ham, and I think that might have been the only one. But I'm not sure. But obviously, a loyal servant to the club. You don't get many of them. You don't get many players who are at a club for 18 years. And obviously, he supported it. He supported West Ham since he was a young boy. He's from East London. So it's
you're gonna have Bowen that'll stay now for years. You've got
I love him. At the minute, Bowen is probably my favourite player. Either him or at the minute Paqueta, just because of he's different gravy. The geezer's just unbelievable. Like, he's different.
I haven't seen West Ham play a lot this year at all, so it's I've heard a lot about Paqueta, but not actually seen him.
You're not missing much.
You're not missing much, no. But we are in the Prem, and he's dribbling just ridiculous. Like there's something just get thrown at you, Ellis?
No, it's one fly that has been bothering me.
Oh my god! I thought I just saw a ghost or something go past.
No, man, it's one little bastard that has been in this room for about 2 days. I can't get it.
But anyway, right, where was we at? Football. My generation of football is near enough now. Really,
I think what they need to do, is sprinkle some shitters in, right? Because not everyone were world class. Right, get sprinkle some shitters in, make it more interesting. Like good players will stand out a lot better. It'll just be better. I love watching it.
Football back then was a lot better than it is now.
I think standard of football now has obviously got a lot better. I mean, you look at the way that City passed the ball. But VAR for me is just killing parts of it. It's just. I just can't be doing with it. I mean, it's not even about the offside thing last weekend, whatever it was, and stuff like that.
It was bound to happen.
They made a mistake. At the end of the day, they made a mistake. Hands up. They've admitted it. Fair play to them. They let the audio out where they knew they'd made a mistake. The law needs to change now. They need to have the law where they can actually stop the game 30 seconds after it started. That's everyone agrees with that. But you go to games and you think you've got away with something and you're all cheering like crazy for it, and then checking VAR, no. You can't celebrate a goal.
It used to be a lot more enjoyable, didn't it? That either, you got robbed, but there was nothing to stop it from happening, or you got jammy, ref didn't see it, it's a goal.
Well, you also got some before where you were onside and the referee gave you his offside, and it's like
that's just football.
People always talk about, he's offside and you got to go. They went the other way as well sometimes where you were onside. And that's saying that it used to obviously it leveled itself out at the end of the season. I don't think it always did. But if a referee misses a penalty and he just says, I didn't see it that way, I'm really sorry. You say it's fair enough. You know what? You didn't see the angle, whatever. Whereas now when you don't get a penalty and you look back at VAR and it's like, how can you not give a penalty? I don't understand how that's not a penalty, a handball or whatever. And it's not a clear and obvious error. Yes, it is. It's a clear and obvious error, but it just it drives me nuts.
I think that's why I enjoy the Championship as well. We don't have VAR. Right? We've had loads of penalty shouts that looking back on replays and red penalty, and you just think, fuck it, what can you do?
Yeah. We'll get one next week where the guy dives for it, but you know what? We'll take it when Bamford dived this weekend, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, but no VAR, can't get called back. You have to go through FA and get it.
Yeah, so it's a bit different.
Even the first game with VAR, it was Spurs Norwich or something. It was definitely Norwich because Timu Pukki scored, but he was this far offside. And because it was the first game they'd done it, he literally, the tip of his shoulder was offside and they disallowed it. And from that moment on, I remember I was in the pub, I'd had a few beers and I was against it anyway. And I was doing my nut. I was like, he's been called offside for that much of his shoulder.
Yeah.
And I knew from then it'd ruin it, and it is. But obviously, like you say, the standard of football's changed. The way football is played has changed, and when they go down for all these free kicks and these penalties, they're not hurt, but that is a tactic now. This is what I try to explain to everyone who doesn't watch football, because they just go on about how people like all they do is dive, lay on the floor, cry, whatever.
If they don't, they don't get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't. So when they go down, it's to gain possession back, so they can carry on with their play. And people just don't understand it. And I have this argument at least twice a week.
Oh, we have it all the time at Leeds. Is when we're in pub, it's strong players get punished. Like we've got Jorginho Rutte, and he's about 6'2". He's dead strong on ball. He's right lanky. He holds players off in that, and like they'll go down and it's free kick. It's like he's just a low, but he's just low stronger than him, and it's like they go down, and it's like you can't use strength because it's wasted on players today.
Yeah. Right, we're half hour in. We're on the second topic.
We've chatted a lot.
It's good though. I'm loving it. Right, Derek, talk to us about how you found your way into the card scene hobby.
So what happened was, as I said at the start, I was collecting football boots for about 10 years, and it got to a point where I found out my wife was pregnant and we're having twins. So it was like, we had that moment of we had a 3-year-old at the time as well, and then twins were coming along. That great plan of having one more, and basically every house we've lived in Qatar, I've always had my own room for boots, and at one point I had about 450 boots in my collection and stuff like that. And then we moved house, didn't have room for it, and then the twins were coming along, so we had that realistic moment of like, can I keep the boot hobby going on? So long story short, we bought a house in Scotland, and I had to sell off pretty much 95% of the collection to fund the deposit for the house that we bought in Scotland. But then after doing all that and getting the money together for the house and so on, it was like, right, what I'm going to collect now? And it's like football cards. And this is the most ironic thing. They'll be cheaper than boots. That'll be great. Get into... it'll take up a lot more space. It'll be cheaper than boots. So let's just go for that and see how it goes and stuff like that. And that's literally what happened, how we got into cards. Started chatting to a few people on Instagram, dropped a few messages to people it was Aaron that invested in soccer, was one of the first people that I kind of spoke to and stuff like that. And just to look, I don't know anything about cards, but I'm a United fan, Ronaldo fan. And you go on eBay, as everyone does, starts looking at the price. Oh my God, some of the price of these cards is absolutely insane. And then just entered my first break. Got Brighton in a random team draw type thing. It was the Prism from 21-22. And spoke to Aaron because it was his investing in soccer breaks. They were doing it. And he said, tomorrow night we're doing pick your team, pick your player break. So I think the school I was working at, we were still fully online. And we were doing 4 hours a day from 7 till 11 in the school I was teaching. So I could stay up a bit later at night and watch breaks and stuff like that because I wasn't having to go to school the next morning. So I entered that break for Ronaldo and all Man United players and just show the first card. And I actually got this card in my first ever pick your team, pick your player break. Wow. It was the Ronaldo Blue Shimmer from the 21-22. So I sent it off to PSA and it came back at a gem mint 10. And that was literally my first break was the Brighton one, random team, but the first one I actually bought into where I actually knew what I was buying into. I got this. And it's like, and
you can start buying me lottery tickets, you lad.
It was just, trust me, I've spent enough to buy this card about 20 times over trying to get more of them. It's like, but yeah, it's, and that just, I didn't know anything about Blue Shimmer cards or what first off the line was or anything. I just knew that I wanted a Ronaldo card. And that was a special season for United fans when Ronaldo came back and stuff like that. So the fact he was in a Prism set as well just made it even nicer. So that was like my first getting into cards. And from then on, I just started picking up, I'm a collector. I'm not I was chatting to you earlier. I'm a collector. I'm not a seller, really. I enjoy collecting cards and I buy cards I like. I don't really care about I can make more money off this one and I can make more money off that one. I invest. I'll use the term invest because when I bought football boots, I didn't buy boots to invest, but then they ended up when I sold them on, I obviously made some money off them. So I've bought cards and I hope that at some point in the future, If I have to sell all of them, then yes, I'll get a healthy return on them. But I am very much a collector when it comes to cards. And I buy the artwork that I like, the style of card that I like. There's certain card. I'm not a Maryland fan. I don't buy into, even though Maryland's got some really nice cards this year for Ronaldo and stuff like that. And he's Madrid shirt. I don't buy into Maryland. I pretty much Prism's my main part of my collection. World Cup from 2014 and stuff like that, all the way through. Mainly, obviously, just Ronaldo cards. So that's how I kind of got into cards, and it's a really active community. And that's what I really like about it. Whereas Football Boots was really strange. I did a video on this on my Instagram talking about what it was like going from boot collecting, where I would wake up in the morning to 15 to 20 messages from people just saying, what's this pair of boots worth? Or can you find me this boot? And can you do this? And what do you think about this boot compared to this boot? And I was getting all these questions coming to me, and I answered every question. I quite enjoy it. Like this, I enjoy the chat about boots, cards, shirts, whatever. So I'd always get back to people about the boot questions and really, really enjoyed it. And then when people knew I'd given up my boot side of things and wasn't really into it as much and became a card collector, even go back after like 1 or 2 weeks in, I found I was the person messaging people who I knew had been in the scene a lot longer, asking them questions out, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And it was quite interesting to be a collector on the other end of the spectrum all of a sudden. You know, going from someone in boots who people would come and chat to someone who knew nothing about a topic. You know, it was quite a surreal opening at that time. You know, it was
like you was like a little fish in a big pond, but before you was a big fish in a little pond.
Yeah, and it's like, and in the boot world, there's not like boots come out every couple of weeks. There's a new pair of boots come out or something, or every month a new pair of boots. Whereas because of breakers and stuff like that, people are chatting about cards all the time,
all day, every
there's
day.
Always something coming out. There's always a boot you don't have, so it's not like you could buy every football boot in the world that's coming out. But in cards, there's always a card out there that you want. You know, you go on eBay now and type in whatever your PC is. There's a card out there for you if you want it. You know.
Yeah, I see you're so active with a lot of the boot stuff as well. I still see like all your stories and stuff like of boots coming out. So you're still active within the boot community, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I still got.
Cards.
Spent 10 years of my life in that sort of world, so to speak. And it is a world, but it's a very geeky world and stuff like that. But, you know, you spent 10 years collecting something. And I was lucky. You talk about football through the 90s and how it was better back then. Football boots were better back then. And I was lucky that I got to wear a lot of those boots before they became collector's items, and people are scared to put them on their feet these days because they're 20 years old and stuff like that, you know. I wore Predator accelerators, Predator positions when I was playing football myself. So I've got my own experiences of wearing all those boots 15, 20 years ago. And then comparing them to the more modern stuff and things like that, you know. So I think in the boot world, I've always stayed involved in it. And even now, like, I still have friends that work in good places to chat about football boots too and stuff like that, you know. So it's, I mean, Lotto sent me a pair of boots about 5 weeks ago. It's their 50th anniversary. Sent me a really nice pair of boots to just do a video for Instagram on and stuff like that. So, yeah, I've still got a few contacts in place, which is really nice. And it's I still love football boots. Just because I sell most of my collection off, I never lost that passion for football boots. It's still there. But even there, like cards, boots have gone up stupid prices now. What I was paying for boots when I started 10 years ago compared to now is just insane, you know.
Yeah, boots are ridiculous money now, and it's like, if you want a decent pair that are obviously that like now they make like the cheaper style of boots where you can get like the same boot that looks a bit different and it's a bit shitter for like 40, 50 quid. But then obviously you get the other one that's 170 quid, but they're like the top notch boot, which is like for someone like me who would just go play sixes on a Thursday, I'd just buy the £50 boot and then I'd run through them and they'd be dead within a few weeks. Whereas if you just invested that money in it, then boots are going to last you a lot longer. I
mean, boots go up to like 200. I think you can buy Mizuno's now at 270, 280 pounds. Adidas always drop remakes of Predators. They come in at 300 pounds. And that's if you get them when they launch. If you miss it on the launch and you've got to buy them on eBay prices a week later, you're double that money. minimum sometimes 600 quid for a pair, and then it's hard to warrant buying a pair of £600 and throwing it on your feet to go and play sixes, isn't it? It's
exactly, yeah.
It's a tough one.
A 600 pair of boots I'm framing and putting on my wall.
Yeah,
it's not even something I've ever looked into, if I'm honest. Like you say this, and it's like 600 for something that goes on your feet. Like, one dream of it. I didn't even know that were a thing. So is it a bit like you get like your sneakerheads and things like that'll spend like daft money?
Sneakerheads is bigger, but I mean,
a bit like that, but for football nerds.
The most I paid for a pair of boots was 3,000.
Cheap.
3,000 for a pair of boots.
Did you use the word investment to get that past the wife? It's an investment.
The ironic thing was she knew about the boots, that there was apparently 20 pairs of them made, and I knew of 2 pairs that had got out of Nike, and one of my friends had one of those pairs, and he decided he was selling them, and he came and got in touch with me, and that was the price he wanted for them. And she didn't even bat an eyelid at it, because she knew it was a pair of boots that had been looking for about 5 years at that point in time. And she knew that, so she knew it was a big deal for me and stuff like that. But then she didn't think of the investment side. But then when I sold them, I made a bit of money off them as well when I sold them on, and that person will probably make more money when they sell them on, and so on and so on. So, it's like everything, So it's so the boots were decent, but a lot of boots were pricey, and it's gone up a lot.
I think to get away in the hobby as well, investment is a great word. I've been using it a lot with my partner when envelopes drop through the door. Like, if I just say it's an investment, like, I can sell them later on. She believes me. Little does she know it's full of base cards with one refractor in it. But
base cards.
Literally.
So yes, that's how I got into this. I go back to the original question. That's how I got into cards originally. Like, I didn't have space for the book collecting, and I wanted to keep collecting. I've always collected stuff, so it was like cards seemed to be a good progression. I'd noticed that the card collecting world had been getting bigger over the last 4 or 5 years. Anyway, my social media was filling up with stuff to do with cards as well, and didn't know about Panini and Tops and anything like that. I literally went into the hobby completely blind, not knowing what I wanted to collect or anything. That's why I started chatting to people like Aaron and things like that to find out what was. It's the best place. I started looking on YouTube. You had Sunday League Investor, you had Soccer Cards United, and these guys were talking about stuff. So it was. It took me a little bit of time to get to know what I actually wanted to collect and stuff. But and then since then, I haven't really looked back on it. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. What is your favourite card? Cards, plural, whatever. I can imagine
so obviously that one's a big one for me. And I can't imagine selling this one, because it's like my story of me getting into football card collecting is the Ronaldo Blue Summer. So another one I bought was this one. I don't know if you can see that properly on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
So this is signed by Ronaldo and Rio Ferdinand. This got a 10 as well. It's number 4 of 7. But for me, this is massive because my son, we just agreed on the kids' names. I've got a boy and a girl twin. My son's called Rio, and my daughter's middle name is Ronnie. So this card actually sounds stupid, meant a lot to me, seeing these two on the same card. I've actually been trying to find another one, so that at some point in that horrible day further down the line, say this one's for you and this one's for you. Do what you want to do with it, type thing, So
no, you can't. No, do what you want to. No.
Keep them in your. Just keep them for me, yeah. So that one. This was one that I've got 4 cards out. So this is one that just like it looks base like, but I don't know if you can see if we get close to the camera. It's got the Cyrillic text on it from the World Cup in 2018.
Oh yeah. So
these were obviously extremely hard to come across, the Cyrillic text. I mean, it's and Ronaldo from 20. I actually just like the image on the card and everything about it as well and stuff like that. And that got a gem mint 10 as well. So I like that card. And then in the last couple of months, the one card that's I just actually liked it. Obviously he wasn't very good in this shirt, but the celebration card from the Jude Bellingham set, I just thought these were quite cool. So I actually got, this is numbered to 10. I sent them off to PSA, and the most annoying thing was I sent off to 10 to 25 to 49 and to 99, and 3 of them came back at Gem Mint 10s, and 1 got a 7, and that really annoyed me. And it's like, so I mean, the to 49 got a 7, so I've been trying to find that one again to try and just slip it back into that little collection there to keep it as a, get it in there to keep the collection true. But yeah, so obviously I collect Ronaldo cards. That's my main PC, and I do collect United cards. That's my thing. I've got a lot.
It's amazing that like you're just holding up grail after grail, like the things people would do for them. You're just sat in your kitchen like, here's this one, here's that one. It's mad.
But I think what I can't get my head around in the hobby though is like people would like they'd get this card in the first break. So this card cost me, I think I paid £45 for Ronaldo in those 2 boxes of first off the line. So effectively that card cost me £45. And I know that there's one on eBay just now that's not graded for $5,000. So I'm not saying I get $5,000 from it. Just say I get $3,000 for it, whatever. I find it hard that people will do that and then invest that $3,000 in buying something else and then buying something else. That's why, because to me, I just want to keep the card. I don't want to sell this card. I might be able to get a nicer Ronaldo card, but I don't want to lose this card as well. I need to try and fund the other card.
I think some people just enjoy breaking more than they do collecting.
Yeah.
I know I'm more of somebody that enjoys the sort of watching a break, potentially pulling something. Don't get a toss if I PC. I don't PC anything. I think it's just something that I enjoy watching and getting involved in, rather than right. Well, if I had a card like that, I won't be keeping it. I'd be selling it. I'll be putting it towards something in real life. I think that's I don't think I'd be able to say if it were 5,000 and I'm looking at it like that's £5,000 there. I don't think I could keep that. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
It depends on your.
And this was what happened when I was selling boots eventually, was that I'd paid this much money for it, but you know what? And it is all ifs and buts, obviously. In 3 years' time, Ronaldo goes to America and goes to the World Cup there and does well. And all of a sudden, Ronaldo comes here. I could sell it now, or I could sell it in 3-4 years' time, or just keep it and see what. I think back to if you've got a Maradona sticker from 1986 type thing, it's a PSA 10, I'm thinking 30, 40, 50 years down the line when kids have got these cards, do these cards, are they, maybe it's different because people are all grading everything these days and stuff, and there's going to be more of it around in 50 years' time. We don't know yet. But I just think, further down the line, if it's worth more than what it is just to get that money now, I don't know. I find it a really interesting topic. I think it's easier if you go into it without having a collecting frame of mind, whereas I went into it with a collecting frame of mind, so it's then tougher to sell stuff like that.
I think if you go into it with a collecting frame of mind as well, like I might be wrong, but you sort of spend a bit more money. Like I can get my fix on a payday and whatnot in about 10-15 minutes. I won't have to touch it again for a bit. But it's like, if I don't know, I wanted like say, I don't even know what I'd PC. Something, and you're chasing that one card, I could not imagine the amount of money I'd spend.
Yeah. Well, which is a bit different for me is on like eBay, like when there was a pair of football, I think this is the difference between boots and cards again. When I was looking for a pair of boots on eBay and that I didn't have, and it would be an auction finishing in an hour's time, for that hour, I'm literally sitting on eBay getting those boots somehow. And if you got sniped at the last minute on it, like my earth would feel like the ground had fallen out from underneath me. And it's like, gee, I'm not going to find these again. Whereas in the card world, if I get sniped at the last minute on a card, I'm like, another card will come up tomorrow. There's so many cards out there compared to when I was doing boots and stuff like that. It's a very different feeling when you miss out on something, and that's where the collecting can be a bit different, I think.
I think collecting cards, you don't feel as bad when you miss out on something, but somebody's always got something you want. There's that many folk doing it. There's always something you're going to want.
100%. And now what I've been gagging to look into, I want to see your boots. I want to see. So I know you said obviously you slimmed down like 95%. You did say to me that you've only got about 5 pairs now.
No, I actually went and counted after I spoke to you yesterday, and it's about 10 pairs. So I brought 4 through just now, just to show. And like the boots that I've kept have all got a bit more meaning to them and stuff like that for me, which sounds again very geeky and nerdy, but it's,
No, I want to hear it, man.
So this pair, first of all,
Beautiful.
these are absolutes. They're signed to me. These are from Xavi. He wore these aren't boots he wore when he was at Barcelona. He was obviously a coach here in Qatar working for Al Sadd. I actually got to know his brother quite well because I taught his kids at the school I was working at the time. And so it was Xavi's nephew and niece I was teaching. Then the nephew turned up one day and said, "Oh, my dad said you can have these." And it was a pair of these. And he'd bought them from someone in England, worn them in training. He'd actually broken a part of it. And he was like, so he put on Derek with affection, Xavi on this one, then he signed the other one as well. So it's not a Barcelona bit, but to me, because it was from the family and stuff like that, just, and he has worn them. He's worn them in training and stuff like that. And it's a great looking boot. The Absolute from 2006 was a classic Pred anyway. So
yeah, that's like my childhood boot.
Yeah, these were awesome and stuff like that. So to have a boot from Xavi, in the collection and stuff like that is just. I have had these match worn boots, and I actually ended up selling them because that boot just meant more to me. I was like, I'm going to keep one. I've actually kept two pairs. I've got another training pair of his as well that are signed by him, and I kept them because I actually got them myself, and he signed them in front of me. I want to keep them rather than selling them on with the rest of the collection and stuff like that. This boot, which I was briefly showed you earlier. So this was a boot I got made, a custom design boot. So it's a Nike boot, but I sent it to an artist in China who did the class of 92 thing on the side of it.
Yeah.
And on the heel of this one's got the United logo, and on the heel of this one, it's got the Salford logo on it. Class of 92 from the TV program. And then I thought I'll just try and get it signed by people. So the first one I met was Nicky Butt, a hospitality thing at Hotel Football. So he signed that one. And I never, ever thought I'd get the chance to meet one of the Class 92. And then obviously, as you know, in Qatar last year, I did meet him. So he signed both football boots for me. So I've got Beckham on both of them as well now. We'll get in the camera there. So
yeah,
now it feels like a realistic goal. I can get all the Class of 92 on there because Beckham is always going to be the tough one. And now he's signed them. It's like, right, it's a realistic goal now to get the whole of the Class of 92 on this boot and stuff like that. And it's custom boots have become quite a big deal. If you follow a few guys on Instagram, this guy actually that did these boots, Pete Zheng, his name is, he's in China. He's done boots for everyone. I actually paid him to do a pair of boots for Xavi to say thank you for all that. He'd signed so many shirts for me and like gave me boots and stuff. I got a custom pair of boots done for him, and the guy in China did it for me. And he's worked with Iniesta. He's worked with so many people. This guy, so his artwork's phenomenal. And I just had an idea of doing a Class of 92 one, get it signed by the normal. You can normally meet Gary Neville and Phil Neville and Scholes at Hotel Football United games, but like I said, I never thought I'd get Beckham. And then when I met him, it was like, this is the one chance I'm going to get to.
Yeah, what's he like as? Like when you spoke to him, I can imagine. Obviously, he's a very nice person as he is. But every time I've seen a video of him, he just seems like a very genuine, nice person.
Yeah, I've had two sort of scenarios because he's been to Qatar quite a few times. When he first joined AC Milan, his first thing with AC Milan was that because I think he joined AC Milan in the January window when he was playing at Galaxy. He went to Milan.
Yeah, he went on loan for 6 months.
Yeah. They came here to play a friendly and do a warm weather training camp here. And I gave him a friend, I went and got the Beckham 32 shirt and gave it to my friend who was going to be pitch side. And Beckham ran past him and he was the only one there. And he was like, "Come on, Dave, can you sign this for my son?" Obviously a blatant lie, but can you sign this for my son? And he came back and he didn't even look at the shirt. He just squiggled on it and ran off. And I was a bit like, that's a bit gutting that a guy I've grown up idolizing couldn't even spend 5 seconds. There was no one else there, it was just my mate with the shirt. And he just squiggled on it. And it was right next to a Kaka signature, which really annoyed me because Kaka had signed the front and Beckham just literally grabbed the shirt and squiggled on it. But then when I met him it was October last year, I met him before the World Cup. It was a very small event. It was for his sunglasses company or the sunglasses that he's involved with here. And they were doing an event here in Qatar. There was about 40 people there. He did a question and answer for about, how long was that? About 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And then just mingled with everyone and people got to take pictures with them. And I got a chance to have like a 10-second chat with them. We just lost 6-3 to City that weekend before that. So we were like laughing, saying it's a rough time to be a Man United fan and all the rest of it. And Ten Hag was obviously didn't have a great start last season either. So just very good. But no, he was so down to earth, very chilled out, and just came across as a really, really nice guy and stuff like that. And it was, maybe just caught him in a bad mood before the AC Milan thing all those years earlier.
Or it might have just been, was it before a game?
No. It was, they'd done a training session, an open training session. So there was no one else. It was about 1,000 people in the stadium, but when he went down the tunnel, my friend actually worked at the stadium, so it was just him, and Beckham had gone off. None of the other players had gone off as well. So, but it was just, it's just you don't know what's going to happen and stuff at that point in time. It's
not every day is
glad I got the chance all these years later to put all that to bed. So he was a really, really nice guy. And
I think if you take time to watch the documentary, you'd understand why he was so down. Honestly, I watched that. I did not realise, obviously, because you were just a kid when it were all happening, how much abuse, how much you actually hated.
Well, it makes me laugh with England fans when England fans talk about Beckham in such adulation. And I obviously remember '98 very well, and the songs they were singing about his wife and everything that was happening. Every ground he went to, the 98-99 season and stuff like that. And then 4 years later, when he's banging a goal in against Greece, everyone's absolutely loving him like he's an absolute hero. It's like, you weren't thinking like that 3 years ago.
Fans, mate.
No.
Football fans, mate. It's football. Like they're the worst fans in the world. I've always said it.
Yeah.
Especially
I didn't realise that there were. I mean, is it like effigies have been hanging outside places? Yeah,
it was West Ham.
Yeah, well done, Youngie. Yeah, class.
It was our second game of the season that
year.
We
went there, what year was it?
98.
Yeah, mate, I wasn't even born, mate. You can't blame me. I wasn't even here. I love him. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Every football fan's like it, and especially Man United. Man United, some of it, like I'm going to say 99% of your fan base are ridiculous, like horrible. Like they're like now, obviously nowadays as well, where it's like the whole world. It's not just
it's fashionable to be a knobhead at football, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah,
it's
whoever can punch the hardest and whoever can throw the most. And like,
I hate it when we go Leeds and there's just you just look at them and you're like, well, you've not come for football, have you? You've just come to be a knob, and it's like.
Yes, it's
I don't understand that mentality when someone's taking a corner and there's like 50 grown men, but that corner firing dogs abuse a guy taking a corner. I'm like, I don't get it. Just
Europa League final, a West Ham fan threw a coin or something at the Fiorentina player and split his head open, like the back of his head open.
Yeah,
and it got us banned from the first away game last week against Freiburg.
Yeah,
and everyone was kicking off about it, and the Freiburg fans put a sign up saying like football without fans, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
but you threw I think it was either a vape or a coin, and you threw it at him and you split his head open. So yeah, they're like you can't just do that and get away with it. So it's like you've got to take a ban. You've got to take like that one fan has ruined it for everyone else. Yeah, but that's how it is. He done it. He's ruined it for everyone else.
I always remember laughing years ago when Rooney scored at Anfield and someone lobbed their phone at him. I always remember thinking, did the guy throw it and think, oh shit, about 2 seconds later, I've just lost my phone because I've thrown it away on the pitch.
He's probably not even done it on purpose, though. It's just like one of them, it's like, oh, fuck, now my phone down. There were big phones back then as well. Like, you weren't a smartphone.
See, yesterday when Arsenal scored, someone was celebrating, they dropped their phone, but someone had jumped on the pitch. And when they dropped their phone, he ran along, picked up the phone, and ran off.
Brilliant.
So they lost their phone. But,
Anyway, the Beckham boots. Another pair of boots I brought were these, which don't look very much. But I just said about Juan Sebastian Veron. These were worn by Veron when he was at United. So, and they're signed by him as well. Now, what's amazing about these is that these are completely custom to him. And without you probably see on camera, it looks like little predator fins on the front of them and stuff like this. And Asics only made these boots for him. So for me being a Veron fan, these were completely custom for him in every way. And he wore these at United, then he wore them at Chelsea, then he wore them when he went back to Inter Milan and stuff like that. And it's just, his name's not on them in terms of like now players have got their name on the side of it.
Yeah.
But they were just so custom made from the sole plate and everything. And it's a pair of boots that I got years ago, and I've just never been able to
Let them go.
We'll let them go and stuff like that. And the last pair of boots I want to show you were this. Now, this came out in 2013. To get this pair of boots, you had to buy a watch, which was $46,000. I didn't do that, obviously.
Fuck that.
But yeah, this was a Puma Hublot. You know the watch brand Hublot?
Yeah.
So their collaboration with Radamel Falcao. So he signed the bottom of all the boots as well. And you had to buy the Hublot watch. The watch came in this massive shoebox. And in the bottom of you had the watch in the top, and Hublot watches are obscenely big anyway. But in the bottom, there was 2 trays, and in each tray, there was one of these boots. There's a black and gold version like this one, and a cheaper watch, which was only $16,000. Yeah, there was a gold with silver pair. And this became, like you talk about grail cards, for me, this became a boot that I became obsessed with trying to find. There was 40 pairs made, and all of them were numbered and they went together with the watch of whatever number that watch was. So people that bought the watch didn't want to then sell the boots, because obviously it was kind of a package you kept together. They were only sold in Colombia, which made it even harder to get them. And it was really, really bizarre. And then randomly, one of my good mates in the boot world messaged me, said, Derek, I think those boots you're after are on eBay. And I was like, shut up. Like, they don't just appear on eBay, these football boots. And right enough, sent me the link to them. And it turns out this is actually a Puma sample pair that an ex-Puma employee had taken with him when he'd left. He put them on. Well, he'd worked on them, so he got to, so there's a leather pair and there's a synthetic pair. This is the leather pair. It's the only leather pair I've ever seen. I know there's a pair in the Puma archives that are leather, and this is the only other leather pair I've seen. And so this is for me, an absolute just great. I mean, it's a very plain look. I like plain looking boots, and the gold's phenomenal on it. And yeah, it was, in terms of being limited, I know of 2 pairs in the world. That's it. The other collector that had a pair weren't the same as this. He had a synthetic upper on it, not the leather upper. So to find a pair of them, I've just not been able to let them go either, because it took me, they came out in 2013. I think I got them out 2017. So 4 years of hunting for them, messaging people who work at Puma, messaging any boot collector, even speaking to watch companies in New York and stuff like that. Did they know anyone that had these boots? And I had a friend that worked at a place in London that had a franchise for Hublot watches. Could he find the boots for me? And it was like, it became a huge mission. And then to find them on eBay was just, incredible. So
crazy.
These boots have never been sold, because I can't think of a number that it would take for someone to get them off me, because
I don't think there is a number if it's that limited.
Yeah.
And it can be what did you say? £34,000 watch? How much was the watch?
46,000 the watch was.
46,000.
Yeah. I mean, the watch was
a
big part of that. Hublot watches are ridiculously expensive anyway. The boots are just like the accessory to go with it type thing. And probably anyone who's paying that for a watch isn't playing football in them. But it was, it'd take a lot. But in the boot world, Puma boots aren't expensive. There are very few pairs of Puma go for a lot of money. So it's, the only person that will ever come along with the right number for me will be someone who has read about those boots and wants to have those boots in their collection. And then, like I say, there's only me and one other person that I know have got a pair of them. So
that's what I mean. Like with cards, like there's one of ones, right? But they're not very limited, because you can get a one of one swirls, a one of one laser, a one of one this, a one of one that. Yeah. So there's not really, except from certain sets, like even like your higher end sets, Obsidians, you've got all sorts of different one of ones.
Yeah.
So it's like that card doesn't feel authentic as such, really, because you know that somewhere out there, doesn't matter where, that there is a different version. Like Prism, there's the normal Prism, the hobby Prism, the breakaway Prism, the Nebula. Like, this is what I mean. There's like, so with cards, when you have that card, it is great, because there's only one of that specific card. But that boot like that, there's 2 of the world, and that there's no other version of that.
Yeah, and like I said, this is the only leather pair. The other pair aren't leather. So
you said,
depends what someone wants when they're looking for it. But
Yeah,
I mean,
so
Prism's an interesting one going on the cards because I'm not trying to get the rainbow of the Ronaldo cards from 21-22, but I've got about 34 of them now, 34 different parallels.
yeah,
And it's becoming not an obsession, but like I'm always trying to find the 21-22.
I saw a message the other day. You're lacking the waves. Am I right? The pink wave.
The pink, oh mate, it's killing me. It's killing me. So cheap. I bought 25 cereal boxes. I think it was like £5 a box I paid, and went through them and didn't get any Ronaldo pink. I was looking at that point, it was actually all three, the blue, the pink, and the red. I've managed to track down the red wave and the blue wave. I've got both them now, so it's literally just the pink wave from those ones. I think I need the pink wave and the pink mosaic, and they're both in cheap boxes. So whether or not kids are getting them and just not selling them,
I don't know what they are. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and also you've got like a lot of breaks happen in China.
Yeah.
And if that card's found in China, 99%
you'll never see
not
it again.
gonna get that card. Never gonna see it. Like the one of one Haaland was pulled in from this year's Prism was pulled in China. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've not seen what it's sold for. Like the only ones I've seen that have sold for a lot of money is either from America or from the UK.
Yeah.
Whereas I know Chinese people, like, that sounds bad. People from China are like collectors sort of thing. So they like, to them, if they got that card, they probably don't care about the money.
Would that be wrong as well to say, like, in places like China, they almost have like their own social medias as well that people use that we don't have here. So it's probably on there. People have seen it on there. Where we don't have access to that. We're not going to see it.
There used to be a really good website. It was like their version of eBay called, I can't say it, was TAOBAO, Taobo or something you pronounced it. And they, so when I was at the football boots, my God, some of the football boots that were on that place were incredible, because the same thing for football boot collectors in China. They had stuff that I'd never even seen before. All legitimate stuff, but just released in that part of the world, never released in Europe and stuff like that. And it was incredible. But yeah, the pink wave and pink mosaic, they're not expensive cards. If someone finds them, the pink wave will probably be a £50 to £100 card maximum, but it's finding one that someone's actually thinking, well, someone might be looking for that somewhere in the world, so I'll throw it on eBay and see if I can,
I've got a Ronaldo Auto 2007 Merlin sticker that I'll swap you for them boots. I mean,
it's but then after the pink wave and pink mosaic, though, it's the stupid ones after that, like the to 10 from hobby box to 5 hobby box, and then the 101.
Yeah. And then the 10 from the fucking breakaway.
Out the choice boxes, it's only the Nebula. And from Breakaway and H2, it's all the to 10s. I've got one of the to 10s. I got the Gold Mojo and a PSA 10. But then after that, it's the hobby boxes. Obviously, I got offered the to 5 card a few months ago. Just didn't have the money for it at the time. I was like, just can't afford it. And he actually offered it to me for about, I think it was $1,900. And then I said, look, I can't afford it. It's like and he put it on eBay and got $3,500 for it. So, so the people keep saying the Ronaldo cards are dead, but there seems to be buyers out there for some of them,
The one of one, the man, is it the man from Finest that came out the other day? Someone pulled the one of one auto of him the other day. Right. They're asking 30, 40 grand.
Yeah. I mean, the one of one Prism gold. I mean, I went on PSA and all the one of ones have been found, because I haven't seen any of them. The Nebula, the gold from Hobby. They've all been pulled and they've all been graded at PSA. I think they're all 8s. There's no like amazing, but it's a 101, so it doesn't matter. But I've never seen them. Like I say, they're probably in China now or somewhere where they'll be tucked away now. I mean, I know the rainbow is never going to be complete. I know that. I just like that card and that 1 year he had at United again. I think for me, I like collecting cards of players that are there that year. Getting a Ronaldo card now from when he's wearing his 07-08 shirt doesn't mean as much to me as actually the Prism card from the year he was actually playing at Man United. That's just my little niche thing. I like collecting cards from the player that's actually there rather than, 5-6 years ago. I don't know. It's just like the Real Madrid cards just now that Marilyn are doing and Select are doing. Nice cards, but I'm actually not interested in them because it's not.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's,
certain cards just fit like for me, like Prism 2021, the Bowen rookie season. That year of Prism, I love it. I love the look of the cards, and like just how they look, especially in slabs. I'm a sucker for a slab, and they just look.
Yeah.
So the light is fucking it right up here.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean, like that set. It's just beautiful. But coming swiftly towards the end of the episode, this one's flown by.
I genuinely don't think that we can record for an hour, and I don't talk for most of it. I'm genuinely shocked. I've just been sat in awe. Like some of the shit you've put on screen, I'm just looking at it like, what a life this man has. Like meeting footballers, getting
you've done a lot,
boots, teaching Xavi's nephew and nieces or whatever it was.
My best story.
Send me a birthday message.
Very quickly, my best story about boots was actually I flew to Barcelona to buy a pair of boots from Qatar, and that was just insane. There was 89 pairs getting sold in Adidas in the Barcelona, so it was a Messi boot on the 10th of October 2015. So it was 10-10 they called it. They released 100 pairs of boots.
What year was that?
That was 2015.
So you're 7 years ago tomorrow.
Yeah. And it's funny because it popped up on my Instagram today as well. That's what made it really funny. And my wife, on the Monday or Tuesday, we were at work, and she said, I went into the office and said, I think I'm going to Barcelona this weekend. And she kind of laughed at me and said, yeah, whatever. And it's like, she's like, no, there's a pair of boots getting released only in this store in Adidas in Barcelona. I've got to be there. If I don't make it to there, I won't get a pair of them. I'll have to pay a stupid price to get them. So a friend from Nottingham, he flew over, met him in Barcelona airport, left Thursday night from Qatar, got to the Adidas shop by midday the next day. There was a list of names, and there was 89 pairs of boots. We got number 64 and 65. We had to every 3 hours they were doing a roll call. If you missed the roll call, you were off the list and had to go to the bottom of the list. And so every 3 hours you were just there. So we went for a few drinks and some food and then came back. When it got to about midnight, all the bars closed to the area we were in. So we used to sit outside the Adidas shop until it opened at 10 o'clock in the morning. Got a pair of boots, ended up buying two more off other people that were in the queue who wanted to make profit off of them. So I bought those two and then sold them to cover my costs of the trip and my boots and everything. Flew back to Qatar, got back to Qatar at 4 o'clock in the morning and had to be in work for 6:30. It was just
a pair of boots, man.
But it's amazing, you know. It's like I absolutely loved stuff like that with boots.
It's an
and stuff
experience
like that.
you're never going to get again.
But you do it for like I do it if there was a card out there that I had to have, and like the only way to get it was to be someplace. I'd probably do the same again because it's what you meet people and you buy. I've still got people on Instagram I chat to that I met in the queue that day and stuff like that. You know, they were doing something similar, and it just makes social media. This is the good side of social media. You know, there's a bad side, but this is one of the most amazing sides is everyone gets to know each other. And even though you never meet half these people, but you chat to them like this, or you just DM each other and stuff like that. You know?
That's like me and Youngie. Like, that social media, never met him in my life. Hopefully I don't. But now we do this. We just talk to people that we find on internet. We just message folk. It's like, hey, come talk to us. Let's see.
Yeah.
And I think you're the one that's left us with nothing to say because you've just got so much to say.
Awe. We're just in awe. Like
it's like you might as well have just hosted it and just had us going, yeah, sick that. It's
fucking David Beckham. What?
Yeah.
I've just been very lucky. It's like living in Qatar, being very fortunate, you know, to have the access to things over here. Like we've had a lot of very good. Raul played over. I only met Raul once, and that was in Pasa, literally.
Only once. He only met Raul.
Yeah. But when you live in a country like that, I had a friend come over here on holiday, and Xavi was literally. I didn't know his family at this point in time, but Xavi was sitting in a cafe in a shopping mall over here. No one was going near him. Like he was just sitting there with his family, and most people didn't even know who he was. And that doesn't happen in other parts of the world because everyone knows who he is and stuff like that, you know. Whereas here, my friend's like, "Oh, can we go in?" I said, "No, he's with his family. Leave him. You know, you don't go and interrupt someone like that." Whereas if he was doing that in Barcelona right now, for example, he'd be getting mobbed by people, and even most of Europe, he'd be getting mobbed. Whereas here, these guys can mingle in, no problem at all, and no one bats an eyelid. It'll be different because we got Ronaldo here in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I feel like that will change now because you've got all these top footballers coming over now, and it's obviously that's going to grow the sport in your like where you're from. So I feel like that's just like now that'll, especially there's obviously a lot of young kids over in Qatar, so it's got to be like when they see footballers, they don't think like us, like, oh, he's with his wife. They're just going to be like, oh, Ronaldo, run over, and that's. I feel like that would change a lot now. Whereas where the Saudi league's getting.
I don't know if it will or not in Qatar because there is a big football culture here. I know it doesn't look like it because if you go to one of our local league games, you're only getting like I've been to games with 200 people at it way 10 years ago and stuff like that.
That's something I want to talk about after you carry on. I want to talk about the football in Qatar in your league.
But now you're getting like a couple of thousand at every game and stuff like that, you know. But most football fans here are PSG or Real Madrid, and they're very, very passionate about it. And when we get the odd football superstar, like we had Wesley Sneijder here for a while, we've had Raul, we've had, when I moved here, Juninho Perman, I can't remember his name, the Brazilian guy that took all the free kicks, he was playing here for Al Gharafa. And like these were massive names. They always have one, who would you call it? Pep Guardiola played here. Gabriel Batistuta played over here before I was here, you know, and they've always had the odd star here. But
you've got Marco Verratti now, haven't you?
Yeah, Verratti's here. We had Hernan Crespo was managing one of the sides. He's just been sacked recently. Al Duhail, who Ronaldo will be playing in a couple of weeks' time. You know, there are some big names. Julian Draxler's just come here as well from PSG.
Yeah, you've got, I know it's totally irrelevant. You've got Leeds United, you've got Rodrigo Moreno.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, there's and it's the football culture in the country, it's always been around. Wherever I've lived, I've always gone to watch football. So I actually lived in Norwich for 2 years before I left the UK. I went to watch Norwich play. I then moved to Tenerife, and then I watched Tenerife play football when I was living over there. I moved to Qatar. My local team were Al Rayyan, so I'd go and watch Al Rayyan play. Then I moved to different. You don't feel tribal about the sides when you go and watch, but I've always watched local football wherever. I just love football, so I go and watch whatever I can, type thing. And like here, obviously I teach. I work in a primary school, a PE teacher in a primary school. Kids love football. They're non-stop. The girls here love football. They're getting right into it. The football culture is here. And I know during the World Cup, it was very frustrating listening to the BBC chat about Qatar. And people say, there's no legacy. They've just bought it. There's no football heritage. There is a lot. We're just a very, very small country. There's like 3 million people in the whole country. You know, people don't see that side of Qatar. There is a massive football following here. It's just different. They don't have the tribalism aspect of like British people have got, but
just adding on to that, I work in a primary secondary school myself, right? All Glory supporters, all plastic lot, annoys me. Coming in with, who do you spot? Spot Arsenal. Oh, I can see why, like, lads. I can, Who do you spot? Spot Man City. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, nice one.
We were laughing today because we were doing a little football tournament. We gave them all the bibs out. I said, what team do you want to be? And literally the answers were Al Nassr, Inter Miami, PSG, and Man City. And I thought, when I started teaching in 1999, I never thought for 1 second I would even mention these football clubs in my P list. You know, and here we are now. That's the name of the teams the kids are talking about.
In 10 years, it'll be something else. It'll be, I don't even want to take a guess at what teams in 10 years will be.
It could be anyone, you know, and it's but that's the good side of football. It's always evolving. But there's a big culture here of fans following players, which I don't understand. Like Ronaldo fans are. I'm a massive Ronaldo fan, but I'm a Man United fan. You know,
they'll support wherever he goes. That's
I find that a really weird. Like
I find that more in, especially like you see on social media, is it's a lot of like African countries and African fans and things like that who support. Like they prefer supporting the player because obviously their football culture is there's not a lot there, is there? Like,
Mo Salah's the best example, isn't he? Every Egyptian person that I've met here
follow wherever he
loves
goes.
Mo Salah. Absolutely loves him. If he went to Real Madrid tomorrow, they'd all be Real Madrid fans. Yeah, and I find that really weird. I mean, I like Scott McTominay, big fan of him from the weekend, but if he moved somewhere else, I wouldn't care just because he's Scottish. You know? Wouldn't pass me, and I find that a really interesting change in the way football's gone over the last few years. Maybe it's because of social media and people feel they know the player better because they follow that player there and stuff like that. But like Leo Messi fans will now all gone bought into Miami shirt. I mean, to be fair, back in the day, I bought a Beckham Real Madrid shirt.
Well, to be fair though, Inter Miami
100%.
kits are gorgeous. Like
They are.
I'd wear an Inter Miami shirt.
My daughter's got the big one.
Yeah, no,
It's
they're
like,
just lovely shirts.
Like you say about like the players and stuff, like for myself, like I wouldn't. So like Jude Bellingham, so I think I love him. So I'll watch wherever he is. Obviously, when he was at Dortmund, I'd watch Dortmund highlights just to see him play. And now I'll watch Real Madrid highlights to watch him play. But obviously, I don't support the team. I've always liked the Liga. I've never had like a favourite between Barcelona and Real Madrid. I like both. And I just like I'll follow players who are in different leagues, but I wouldn't. So like Declan Rice, I wouldn't now follow him play football because he's gone to a different club. That he's not in my mind no more. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I'll watch like Jude Bellingham or I don't know, like Sancho. Even when he was at Dortmund, I'd sit there and watch him. But now he's at Man United, I'll just ignore him. And obviously, that's a bit of a touchy subject.
Well, it was a wee bit shy now. But there's a lot of players that I like and that I follow, and it's like no matter where they go. But not so much now. I don't think there's a player I can think of off the top of my head that I go, right, let's see what he did this weekend.
What about Rafinha? Obviously, he was at your side for a while. Rafinha, then
he's a Barca. He's doing all right. He don't need me to watch him. It's a funny one, isn't it? He was one of them players that you watched at your club and you thought, how the fuck have we got him? Why is he here?
Yeah.
And that's just how it was.
Yeah, when he walked
but just the other way, that's all.
You know what? Sorry, this is completely off topic, but it burnt me this morning. So I was playing FC24, and Onana he's unbelievable in this game, right? And you can't get anything past him. But in real life, he's dog shit.
Right, we were just having proper football talk, yeah.
No, because it just popped into my mind. Sorry.
I saw a stat today about Onana saying that when in De Gea's first 17 games, he kept 2 clean sheets, and Onana's kept 3 in 18. And it's like, but De Gea was rubbish when he first came to us.
Yeah, he was shite.
You know, everyone targeted him. But he was young, and we all saw the promise with him. But
see, I wouldn't mind if Onana were decent at other clubs, but if you watch him at Inter Milan,
I know,
shite. Like you aren't that special. Right, we're coming up to an hour and 20, and I'd love to talk.
I need to go watch Big Brother.
You need to watch. I've heard it's good. I've heard it's supposed to be quite.
Watch it now. Yeah, it's great. But anyway, that was probably the most interesting episode we've had.
Yeah,
normally episodes.
It's not gonna. We're not going to be able to. We peaked too early. We're not going to be able to talk to somebody holding up football boots and Xavi and David Beckham, getting pictures with David Beckham. Football boots that were only released in Colombia with Falcao on bottom. I mean, fucking next week we're going to have somebody on Instagram with 300 followers, mate. Like
I've got some other some signed shirts, etc. Stuff. We can definitely do this again. It'd be good to have a chat. Maybe a bit further down the line of more cards, etc. And then just dive into whatever's happening in the football season then as well.
I think as well,
we'll do a little roundup at some point.
We planned this episode quite quick. Like normally we plan to film 2 a month, and it's like we've filmed 3 in the last 3 weeks, haven't we? Or something like that. And it's
picking up.
There's so much that you want to say to somebody that you don't know till you speak to them for the first time. It's like you just throwing information at us, and it's like, if we were to speak again, you can extend and go. But if we were to do it in this session now, we'd be talking for 4 hours. But,
honestly,
no, I normally don't shut up. I'm like, I talk for an hour straight, and I've just been in awe. Like,
it's nice to see.
You're holding up football boots with David Beckham on. I'd be happy if you signed a napkin. Like, it's mad, isn't it?
I'd frame it if he signed a napkin. Let alone like that boot. I'd probably carry it around with me everywhere.
If you shook my hands. If you shook my hand, I'm not washing again. Like, that's just.
Yeah, the boots will be framed once they get the rest. Once they get Giggs, Scholes, and the Neville brothers on there, then the boots will be framed and they'll be put away for a long time and stuff like that. So
see.
Yeah, there
you
you
know
go.
what? As well, this might be me just being, but I didn't realise till I watched this documentary how good players like Gary Neville and Scholes
Yeah.
actually were. I didn't
Yeah.
give them the
I was
credit
thinking
that
about this the other day. Obviously, Gary Neville lived in the shadow of David
Yeah.
Beckham, but he was a phenomenal
he did
footballer.
it. Yeah, he did everything so he could do what
Shine,
he
yeah.
did. Yeah,
I'm sure he said
He was
it.
mustard, he said.
He said it in the documentary. What I think he said he walked so David could run.
Yeah.
And it
and,
was
and I think as well, like when I think back to David Beckham, I always thought, you know what, his career wasn't as spectacular as you think. But then when you actually look at it, like going from what Real Madrid and not knowing the reasons why he got pushed out, like by Fabio Capello and things like that, and because of his, like, I can't remember what it was exactly. I'll not ruin it. Obviously, if you know about his life, you know about his life.
sharp,
But
sharp.
yeah,
Just very quick story on Paul Scholes. This was the one time I actually I was at school and Xavi was there, and I've always wanted to ask him about Scholes, Gerrard, or Lampard, because obviously that's the classic argument in England, isn't it? Who was the better player out of those three?
do you know what? Scholes never even gets mentioned in that round here. It's he don't even get a
so
look
funny
in.
because for us, we always
brilliant.
the Scholes into it, and Xavi was like Scholes. No, he says we spoke about him all the time. He was the one player out of those three that they felt they could take, put him in that Barcelona team, and they would be stronger or just as strong taking like Busquets or Xavi or Iniesta out of it. They felt Scholes would go in there. And he was like, Gerrard, phenomenal player, Lampard, phenomenal player, but Scholes for them was the one. And I think you're right, in England, we don't talk about Scholes like that, but then that was probably the greatest ever football team we've seen. And those players are talking about Paul Scholes and that kind of on that perch, which no one in England except United fans put him up there and stuff like that. It's really
I think only time we talk about Paul Scholes at Leeds is when we chant about him sucking on toes, and that's the big chant round.
the beauty of social media for Paul Scholes.
Yeah, there we go.
We've diverted.
Sorry again.
No,
guys, thank you very much for having me on. Really appreciate it.
No, it's all right.
Pleasure.
It's been a pleasure to just learn and just to listen, and like you just need to do audio books so I can just listen all day to your stories. Like the way that he just said, the way that he said so casually, Xavi turned up to the school and I'd shit my pants. Like that's like you say it so casually, like, oh yeah, he's just come to pick him up. Sound.
Yeah, it wasn't that casual when I saw him, I can assure you. It's easy to talk about it now, but it's like Jesus, it's a different breed. So anyway, right guys, I better go. It's 11:15 at night here as well, and I'm up early, so I better
All right. So thank you
guys.
so much.
Thank you very much.
See you later, mate.
Right.
Cheers.
We'll do a little outro now, because why not? So that were what's on the cards with Eric. That were fucking interesting. And you know what? I've held my tongue. I've not said anything out the ordinary today, just the respect for somebody that has stuff madness, isn't it? Yeah, could listen to him talk all day.
Yeah, he's so good for some reason. There's some of the stuff he has. It's just a dream for some people.
He's made me feel poor. Like, I don't have a lot, right? But he's just made me feel like below the line. Like, is this, is that? And it's amazing. But anyway, that's been what's on the cards. We're going to shoot off because
Big Brother's on.
Yeah, Big Brother is on. I'm not going to watch it. But yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that was episode 5 with Mr. Derek DLBootRoom on Instagram.
What a gentleman. We're the kind of man to ask what Premier League player has the biggest cock. We'll ask that next week. Yeah. Anyway, but what a gent.
That's it. Right.
See you later.
All right,
let's get off.